Hey everyone, welcome to the class tonight. My name is Dr. Asatar Bear. My co-teacher here, Leah Schaefer. Normally we like to start the class with a joke, but not tonight. We just can't do that, right? I mean, we're absorbing this unbelievably traumatic news, from this leaked Supreme
Mhm.
Court document and so on, right? Um, Millions of women face losing a very significant right, and I think it's terrifying. It's traumatizing. I think we're all sitting with this, trying to figure out what does it mean, um, and maybe some people say, well, it was expected or whatever, but it doesn't matter, right? Like maybe some people expected it, but like the point is we are dealing with this huge change, right? And I mean,
Mhm.
like, our minds are all over the place, right? I mean, like,
Mhm.
it has seized national consciousness. Am I right, Leah?
Yeah, I absolutely, Asatar. And for everybody that's joining us tonight, we are hoping to provide some meditations that create help to create support and harmony within you. We are not the type that are going to shy away from difficult subjects, because that is spiritual bypassing, and we have no interest in that. We actually would
Right.
really like to use these techniques that empower us, connect us, and unite our hearts to be able to help humanity on towards its further evolution. I know that personally. I have just been. It feels like a tidal wave to me. The news about women in the United States losing their constitutional right to make a choice about whether they want to have a child or not is feels like a tidal wave, like nothing short of that for me. And I have been struggling with it all week since hearing the news. And so I'm very, very honored for anyone who would like to stay with us during this hour and really use our meditations and use the power of our hearts to really face this and to really be present through it, because more than ever, like, we need each other and we need to support each other and protect each other. So
Right, right. I mean, it really makes me think about, kind of a general topic, which is like, we have these things that happen externally, right, in the external world, and some of them are political, right? I mean, some of them have to do with, rules,
Mhm.
laws, and whatever structures which feel like they're way bigger than ourselves, right? I mean, these are macro level kind of structures, and we are here individuals, right? And we're let's say we're committed to spiritual practice. We want to improve ourselves. We want to meditate. We want to connect. And how can it help, right? I mean, are these just totally different spheres, right? I mean, the path of inner development versus changing things in the outer world. Like, I mean, this is not a
Mhm.
show on politics, right? I mean, but we can't
Right.
avoid it either, right? I mean, we have to talk, especially when there's momentous things happening. I mean, we would
Mhm.
we would feel completely like out of touch, and like we're missing an opportunity to maybe help, right? I mean,
Yeah.
because our experience is that meditation is helpful for so many things, right? So our
Mhm.
question is like, how might it be helpful here, um, and that's really what we set out to explore with this show.
Yeah.
And the kind of
Yeah.
thing that strikes me is like, so meditation is the path of unity, right? And we're seeking this state of unity, right, where we are eternal and we are timeless, we're perfect, we're
Yeah.
infinite, we're one with all beings and all things that exist, right? And so it feels like a kind of a wrong direction to me to say, like, well, those people over there, right? Oh, they just don't get it, or they're, doing this, that, or the other, right?
Mhm.
Them, they, right? Because it kind of creates a separation, right? I mean, we
Right.
want to, and especially if we're talking about creating unity and creating understanding, well, we should understand where we come from and we should understand where they come from as well, right? I mean, we should at least make every effort that we can, um, to and understand is maybe the wrong word, right? To really feel deeply all sides of this conflict, right? And that doesn't mean we don't come down on a side, right? I mean, we are already coming down on a side, right? We're like, look, I'll make it very clear. I think taking away a woman's right to choose is absolutely the wrong move, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I'm I,
Yes.
I'm not saying we should understand all sides so that we can avoid responsibility for taking a side ourselves. No, not at all, right?
No.
We have to, right? We have to take sides. But it's more like how can we be more effective, right? And especially if what we're
Hmm.
after is unity, right?
Yeah.
We can't proceed
Exactly.
the path of unity by separation, right?
Yes, and I liked what you said, Asatar, about how can we be more effective, right? And so my it is my personal belief that humanity is one humanity, and like we inherently want to protect what we love. That is an
Mhm.
inherent thing in our hearts, when it comes down to it. For most people, I think like 1 out of 100 people like are missing a part of their amygdala, and so they do not actually have these type of emotions. However, the majority of people I know want very much to honor and protect that which they love.
Yeah.
And so as a people, I believe inherently like we want the same thing, and
Mhm.
that there is a lot of messaging out there to create separation. I believe it has to do with divide and conquer. I mean, there's division, there's like messaging about division in every regard.
Yeah.
And it's like when we start as a nation taking away constitutional rights that allow a person to have a life, of their own choosing, we are in great danger, and I feel that we are very much being betrayed as a humanity. It is an affront to humanity, and we are being betrayed as a humanity, and so that's why we need to come together very much to come together
Yeah.
with this.
I mean, we want to think about this on a kind of large scale thing, right? We want to think, look, everyone is motivated by some kind of ideal, right? I mean, everyone is motivated by something that
Mhm.
is larger, a principle, you know? I mean, like, yeah, look, we all have a kind of selfishness within us, right? So we're motivated by, fear and greed and, baser things. But, if we're going to like really, dedicate resources to something, there has to be a good reason for that, right? There has to be a narrative, and that narrative has to be overarching, right? It has to be a story that says like this is the right thing to do, right? And so
Mhm.
like, that exists like on this pro-life side, right? That exists, right? And it's like, well, it's the rights of the unborn, and we got to protect the babies and all this stuff, right? And so I say to that, I'm not going to say to that you're wrong. I say you're right. Absolutely. We need to protect life. I mean, there are a lot of anti-life forces in our society, right? There are, anything which leaves people poor, in debt, lacking medical care, right? These are all
Mhm.
anti-life things, right? I mean, how can we, if we want to be pro-life, and we all do, I mean, that's what this is about here, right? Well, then what's the best way to do that, right? How can we do that? And if we're honest, we're going to say, look, taking away women's choices is not the best way to proceed. That is the last thing you want to do, not the first thing, right? I mean, let's give everyone health care. I mean, if we cared about people not dying, you know, no woman should die because they can't afford to go to the hospital, right? For whatever reason,
Mhm.
right? Like whether it's related to childcare or whatever it's related to, and not only no woman,
Mhm.
no person, So like, why are we not working in that way, right? We know this is effective, like
Right.
creating
And
universal medical care, this is important, right? We need to do this.
and just like, in Texas for the last 10 months, it has very much been that if in law in place that even as a result of rape or incest that you would have to give birth. How
Yeah.
the fuck is that protecting anything? I'm sorry, but like,
It's
like that's
protecting
just
abusers. I mean, that's what
it's a
that's right.
protecting it's enabling abuse, it's supporting
Yeah.
abuse, and it's protecting abuse. And if there wasn't enough of that already,
Yeah.
so that is not an act of protecting life. That's an
Exactly.
act of enforcing abuse. And um, yeah, okay, I'll just stop there. Hmm.
Well, it's like we have to be realistic, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we have to kind of take things as they are, not how we wish they could be, right? I mean, like so, like trying to punish millions of women for essentially having sex. I mean, this is pretending that the law can do something that it can't do, right? I mean, and we already know this, right? If you outlaw abortion, then you're going to have a lot of back alley kind of medical procedures, right? You're going to have a lot of off the books medical procedures. These kind of procedures are not accessible to the poor, and the rich will still they'll still get abortions, right? Like, I mean, that, and so it
Yeah.
creates this unfairness, right? I mean, not only does it
Right.
enable abuse and all of this, right, but it's also punishes you on class lines. I mean, and
Yeah.
this is not it's not going to work, right? It's not going to be effective. So it doesn't really do what it's trying to do on the face of it, right? And so then
Yeah.
we could ask, well, what are you really trying to do, perhaps? But we could just say, okay, look, let's meet the ideal, protect life. Absolutely. I'm with you 100%, right? And then we could say, well, what are the right tactics to employ, right? Um,
Mm.
and let's look at everything, right? Why should we focus on one little narrow issue, right? We should focus on everything. Um, but where is
Yeah.
that going to lead us, right?
Yeah.
That's going to lead us to eliminating poverty, eliminating homelessness.
Right.
Come on, like, what's a high risk situation? Not having a house.
Yeah.
If
Hmm.
you want to protect children, make sure there's no child poverty. Make sure every child has enough to eat. Um, and this would be an
Yeah.
amazing thing for
I
humanity.
mean, and most people can barely afford to, with our current economy, most people can barely afford to support themselves.
Right?
And so, if you have to have a child, if you get pregnant, you're going to stay poor for a very long time. And that is what I feel is the real agenda that's happening here. It is an affront
Yeah.
to
What if the
humanity.
most powerful way to reduce the number of abortions was to take away poverty, right? Because how many abortions are made because you say, well, I
Hmm.
just can't afford this child, right? I
Hmm.
mean, like, having a child is expensive, and like there isn't a
Hmm.
lot of support. Like in US society, there's not a lot of support for that, right? Um,
Hmm.
well, so you want to reduce the incentive for people to have abortions, remove that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah,
I'm all about
we
it.
should do that anyway, right? I mean, even if this,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have a world in which, I mean, this is a world, the world we've created is a world of plenty. We should not allow people to be desperately poor, right? Except, of
Yeah.
course, that the reason there's a lot of poor people is because there's a few rich people. I mean, that's, to make it simple, the rich get rich by exploiting the poor. I mean,
Hmm.
just to, to put it in blunt terms. So,
Yeah.
I think we can break it down politically and whatever, but then the question becomes like, well, how does meditation help us? Right? This is a meditation class,
Right.
right? Like,
Yes.
we're not here politically organizing or whatever, right? We're here to teach meditation, and
Yeah.
how does that help? Like,
Hmm.
and I think one of the things that comes up for me, like when I think of a big political event, and especially the trauma and the fear that comes up, especially around this issue, right, is we need, in order to see things clearly and to feel things clearly, we have to kind of move beyond that, right? We have to allow that fear and that, all of those feelings, right, that are so attached to like the particular outcome, right, or are so kind of, just, that coming from that very limited place, right? We need to allow that to flow through us and come to a more expanded kind of place, right? And I
Hmm.
think that's where meditation can really help, you know, because when we're cycling through these anxious thoughts and whatever, right? We want to kind of move to a bigger place, you know, or let's say we want to process that stuff more efficiently,
Hmm.
there's going to be a certain amount
Yeah.
of we have to do, right? I mean,
We do
because
have to process. We have to
yeah,
process this news. It's in front of us. We have to process it.
and
So
it's
that's
big.
totally what we're going to help with tonight too.
Yeah, but we can
Yeah.
help that with a breath, right? We can help that by
Hmm.
giving ourselves a very energetic state internally, so that we have more power in our being to process this, right?
Hmm.
So let's do that. I mean, now that we've sort
Okay.
of preambled it, let's let's take our upright meditation posture, and find a posture where your back is relatively straight, your shoulders are in line with your hips, your head is in line with your spine, so that you're upright and aligned. In meditation, we want to be still, but stillness. We often, our bodies see that as sleep. So we want to be still, but we want to be very energized. Right? Our energy, we want that our energy to be up. So we're striking a balance here, trying to have an upright but relaxed posture. Right? So then we close our eyes and we just tune into the breath. And the first step, just to notice that you're breathing, to feel the inhalation and the exhalation. And then to breathe down deep in your body, allowing your belly to expand as you breathe in and contract as you breathe out. And you might take your hand and just place it on your belly and just feel your belly rising and falling. Bringing your awareness of your breath down deep in your body and triggering the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system which is associated with relaxing and just calming down, bringing your focus into your body and onto your breath. And we like to continue to work on the breath and make the breath slow as well. So as you breathe into your belly, just extend it further than you normally would. Take a bigger breath and allow your belly to just really puff out like a big balloon. Just relax your abdominal muscles. You know, we keep our abdominal muscles so tight, so armored. What if we just relax that and just let that belly expand, gloriously expand on the inhalation? And then on the exhalation, squeeze out the breath so we breathe out more than we might normally, so that our breath takes a longer time. Our breath is actually slower. And this just really deepens the effect. You know, breathing into your belly helps a lot, right? And breathing slower helps a lot more. It's amazing. Slow breath slows down your anxious thoughts. It gives you space internally. It's fantastic. So try to just keep working on that deep, slow breathing. Now we'd also like to make the breath rhythmic. We would like to make the breath the same length on the inhalation as the exhalation. And we would like to make the breath heart-centered so that we have the sense that our breath, which is life, is energizing our hearts. Right? Our hearts as in the center of our being, where we hold our highest ideals, our principles, that which we love, that which we value, all that we are. That's what we mean by heart. So you want to connect your breath and your heart. And you can do this by imagining that it is your heart that is breathing. Now, of course, the physical truth is that it's your lungs that are breathing, right? By changing the shape of your body cavity, you create a partial vacuum and this draws in air. But air is only part of breath. A part of it is energy. And that energy part goes wherever you think of it, whatever you place your focus on. So you place your focus on your heart, your chest, right in the center of your chest. And just feel like your heart is drinking in that energy of your breath on every inhalation and is radiating that energy outwards throughout your body and into the space beyond on the exhalation. And just to really add to this and bring it all together, make the breath rhythmic, slow, deep, and heart-centered all at once. We're going to focus on our physical heartbeat and time the rhythm of your breath using these heartbeats. So, for example, you're breathing in the same number of beats, of heartbeats, on the inhalation as you are on the exhalation. So perhaps you try 4 beats in and 4 beats out. And if that's a little too slow, perhaps, or maybe you start with that and then you try 6 beats in and 6 beats out. Maybe you get to 8. You know, you work with what count feels right to you. You know, our hearts are full of feeling, our hearts are full of emotion. By breathing into your heart, you will tap into that feeling, you will tap into that emotion. And you might experience this as feeling more. It might feel worse even. You know, you might say, "Oh my God, I feel overwhelmed with the feeling that I am experiencing right now, the emotion that I'm experiencing. Where is this coming from?" Right? It's just an upwelling. Really stay with your breath. Really breathe through it. If powerful emotions come up, just consider that your heart is more powerful still. Your heart can contain every emotion, no matter how powerful it is. What a thing to experience that is, because we know that these emotions can be just mind blowing, right? I mean, that just, wow, the power. But your heart is stronger still. Give your heart the energy that you need, the inspiration that you need, uh, the power that you need in order to experience this. It's like you're taking a trickle and turning it into a river, and then just standing in that river flow, being the river bank, being the flow of water itself. All of that is you. So in a situation like this, where we have something that triggers fear, that triggers trauma, that makes you think of, well, what if, right? What are all the possibilities? How do I protect myself? Where you feel a sense of threat, right? That's even more heightened. We have to redouble our focus on the breath so that we can have that structure and have that sense that we will not be swept away by the river. So once again, remember, deep, slow, rhythmic, heart-centered. Counting the beats of your heart on the inhalation and counting them on the exhalation. Same number of beats on each side. Now we can start by drawing those into our hearts who we're thinking of. We might think of those who are the most vulnerable to something like this, those who are the most at risk, and feel like they're with us in our hearts, right? Maybe it's us, right? See, the reality is we are all one. That is the inner reality. The energy of your heart is literally unlimited, right? Your heart generates an electromagnetic field. That is a scientific fact. Electromagnetic fields go on forever. So, on a very real level, the energy of your heart is infinite, you know, in at least one way that we can measure, right? Our fields are in each other's fields. We are literally inside each other's hearts energetically. What if we allow that to become the most prominent part of our reality? Most of the time, that is not the most prominent part of our experience, you know. Mostly we're aware of our separation from others. What if we retuned? What if we really paid attention to the way in which we are all one? Might there be creative solutions there? Might there some of the resistance, some of the anger, some of the fear, some of the things that divide us might just melt away in that overwhelming recognition of our unity? And not on a mental level. This is not a thinking thing, right? This is a feeling thing. This is an experience thing. So you stay with what's real to you, right? Maybe that is real to you, maybe not. Maybe you're feeling that cosmic universal dimension of the heart that we all share, that endless unity. Or maybe that's just words to you, right? You stay with what's real for you. I feel very clear in saying that all of us are on the path of development. All of us have a longing to grow and unfold and change and grow toward our infinite potential. By tuning into the breath, we assist with this, right? And what is true for us individually is also true for humanity, right? And we have an influence on that, right? We're like cells in the body of humanity as a whole. We don't have control over the whole thing, right? Of course not. We know that. But we do have an influence. And so we can send out with the energy of our heart, we can send out the earnest desire, the longing, the plea. Can we not find a path of growth that is the best for this collective body? And it's probably not the case that the best course of growth for the collective body is cutting off its own foot. That's not, that's only done under the most emergency of circumstances, right? Like, usually there's a better way, right? Can we find a better way, a way that doesn't cut anything? Maybe we don't know exactly what that looks like. Can we have the courage to believe it exists nonetheless? Can we breathe into the possibilities? Even as we feel the fear and the trauma and all of the bad things that might happen, right? But we could remain alive to the fact that, well, good things might also happen, right? Like, we want to keep that in mind. Sometimes we when we focus too much on outer events, it can become kind of hopeless and maybe nihilistic, right? But our hearts are full of hope, and that's very powerful. That is an energy. May the path to unity without come from unity within. At least it seems like that's a better way, right? We find unity within ourselves and then create that in the outer world. All right, and when you're ready, then you open your eyes and move your body.
Thank you so much, Asatar. um, yeah, I really like how you mentioned, that we do have influence. I think that is one of the most important things to remember and to realize every single day.
Yeah,
And I want to just mention that if you're out there and you're affected by this, if you're having big emotions such as anger or sadness or depression, I want you to know that's completely valid.
yeah,
There, like that's the thing with our heart and this meditation technique is that we're not trying to cut out any part of ourselves. And in fact, your emotion can be basically transmutated into fuel and energy for you, in order to either to find and create a solution, as you're exposed to, um, or just come into action as you see needed, and available to you as an individual, because your unique community, your unique, intelligence will have an impact that only you can have, you know? So you really want to honor the emotion because it can very much, it's energy and it's powerful energy, and that's our heart. Our heart has extraordinary energy in it, and so you want to utilize it, not shove it down. So just want to reinforce, and we'll work on this in our meditation too, but just want to really reinforce that the emotion's not the problem. It's really going to help you to open your heart more and then be able to have more power and more capacity to do what you want to do or create.
That's a great point, and I think that's really important to mention. Thank you. I mean, we get so afraid of these emotions. Like if anger comes up, sometimes we say, "Well, I'm not an angry person," or I don't want to be in the negativity or whatever, right? Like, but we have
Yeah.
to be where we are, right? We have to let that river of emotion flow through us, and we can't limit it to saying, "Oh no, what I meant was I just want the positive ones." No, right? We're gonna get
Right.
all of it, right? So,
All of
if
it.
it is something that you feel associated with negative, or even something that is triggering to you, you know, again, really focus on the breath, right? Let the breath be your anchor, because that
Mm,
will happen, right? You will get, the echoes of trauma from the past. You'll get that, right? You'll get pain. You'll get all kinds of things.
yeah.
You'll get joy too, right? So,
Mm,
we really want to honor that, and we want to just emphasize, um, we're not about picking and choosing here, right? We're about just
yeah.
letting the river flow, and the flow
Yeah.
purify.
No, it's so beautiful. It's like all of life has pain in it, and we're not trying to be, masochistic, masochists. I don't know how to say that even. I don't even know how to say that word. Or, we're not trying to say like we're we want to create pain, but that is a part of existence. And so we want to embrace what's happening and not try to deter it or
Yeah,
deny it,
if you're
deny it.
not feeling pain, that's okay too, right? No, don't worry. Like, oh, I should be feeling pain right
I
now.
don't know anyone that's never felt pain.
Well, in this moment,
It's
let's say.
very impressive. You never felt pain. Um, um, all right. Well, I would like to just kind of jump into another meditation, if that's
Yeah,
all right, Asatar,
let's
unless there's
let's do
something
it.
else you'd like to say
No, that sounds good.
before doing that. So go ahead and move your body any which way you like to stretch a bit before our next sit. And then when you're ready, because I know, my goodness, my body has had kind of a crazy response to all this, the stress of it. And so, just really, anytime you get any kind of experience that is stressful, your body's going to have a response. So, you always want to honor your body and try to open up the tension before you sit down. And then, as you're ready, if it's comfortable to you, close your eyes. You can definitely soften your gaze instead. Maybe that might be too much to go inside with something so big in your heart. But I want to really encourage you to be fully present with yourself in this moment of time. And start to deeply breathe already. So, the beautiful thing, like Asatar led us through, is that our breath really helps us to integrate and assimilate all that we get exposed to. And so, as you breathe today or tonight, know that your breath is matching and meeting whatever's happening inside. Allow your breath to wash through you, washing and nourishing the intricate cells of your being. And in a way, it's really beautiful. It's like your breath is able to meet these parts of yourself that maybe your intellect doesn't know how to. It reminds me of a river going into the ocean. There's this experience of that river just having this momentum and really meeting something so much greater, something so much bigger than its individual self. And for some reason, that really reminds me of the breath tonight. You know, this topic is something that is bigger than our intellectual self in a way. It feels out of our hands in a way. But that doesn't mean it really is. And so allow your breath to wash through you like this river. Allow your breath to meet all that's happening in your heart and in your body. Like a river just moving toward the ocean. If you're able to bring your heart into this equation, meaning that you can sense and feel your heart center. And in fact, everyone, as you breathe this way, sense and feel your heart center. And if you're able to feel your heartbeat as you breathe, maybe with the help of finding a pulse point or placing your fingertips on your sternum. If you're able to feel your heartbeat, I want to encourage you to place a word of either love or power on your heartbeat, whatever word that you like. Something that helps you to remember. And feel your breath and your heart moving into harmony, moving into rhythm. And all my lion-hearted ones, all of my lion hearts out there. This is a key, this simple exercise. We're going to keep meditating, but these first few steps, this is how you make yourself ready. This is how you help yourself to process and integrate, to assimilate so that you can create out of what's needed. You can feel and hear the need clearly And in yourself, you can be harmonic enough to create whatever solution is really needed and necessary, whatever's in front of you directly. You might not know what that is yet, and that's okay. But this moment, this exercise, it's going to help you be ready. And then we're going to move into a water breath. And I'm going to explain somewhat of a technical meditation practice tonight. This is heart rhythm meditation, and it is a practice that has a lot of layers and levels to it. So you just do your best and don't worry so much about letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. You want to really embrace yourself, your body, your heart, and work with your deep breathing. And if that's all you get, that's beautiful. That's perfect. But stay with yourself, stay with your heart. And so the technique that we're going to do, there's two parts to it. One is the water breath, and so we're going to start there. As you're ready, inhaling through your nose as you breathe, and then exhaling out of your mouth. So this is the water breath technique. If you're able to breathe in rhythm with your heartbeat, it would be about 8 heartbeats in, 8 heartbeats out. And that of course is very subject to the individual. So your heart rate is going to be different. It might be less, somewhere like 6, it might be higher, somewhere around 12. I don't know the exact number, but just to give an example. So, but you want it to be full breath, deep, full breathing. So inhaling through your nose and exhaling out of your mouth. Full, complete belly breathing. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling out your mouth. And keep that. Maybe you decide that's all you want to take on tonight. Or if you're ready for a little bit more, I want to invite you to inhale into the back of your throat. So you're still doing inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. You're going to keep doing that. But imagine the stream of energy is moving into the back of your throat as you inhale through your nose. And then as you exhale out of your mouth, ride the energy of your breath all the way down your body and into your sexual center, into your sexual chakra. So you're inhaling in through the nose and imagining the stream of energy coming into the back of your throat. Really feel how it opens the back of your throat up. And then as you exhale, the energy, it keeps opening the throat, but then it goes all the way through the channel of your body down to your sexual center. Your creative chakra, your chakra of creativity, your chakra of abundance. There's a lot of sense of freedom when our sexual chakra is energized. There's a playfulness and a freedom. We want to create and we feel the abundance of creation. And as you keep breathing this way, feeling the back of your throat really opening up, becoming more spacious. And then connecting that all the way down as you exhale out of your mouth, energetically opening that stream of energy all the way to this is center of creativity, of abundance. And I find it really beautiful. One of the things I've learned is that certain chakras are paired. Certain chakras are energetically linked. And typically we're stronger, the ones that are linked, there's a stronger one and, one that either is blocked or maybe has a bit of a lack of energy. And one of those pairings is the creative sexual chakra and the throat, the chakra for expression. And now more than ever, it's important that each of us learn how to use our voice. And so I want to keep opening this channel, balancing these two chakras with you. By adding in another step, you can always just stick with the instructions I gave so far. So it's kind of a stay here, or you're going to do a 2-part breath. So the first one is exactly like you've been doing, inhaling into the back of your throat and then exhaling down your body into the sexual center, the sacral center, your sacral center. And then with the second part, what you'll do is that you'll inhale into the sexual chakra. Feel inhaling through the nose. And then this time when you exhale, you bring your energy of your breath back up your body, all the way to your throat, and you exhale the energy forward out of your throat. So I'll say that one more time. The technique is you're still inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of your mouth the whole time. With your next inhalation, you can inhale into the back of your throat, opening it up. And then as you exhale, following the energy of your breath down into your creative chakra. And then as you inhale into the creative chakra, into the sexual center. And then as you exhale, you bring the energy stream back up your body to your throat and move the energy stream forward out your throat. Practice that for a few breaths together. Keep breathing this way. Keep helping to balance these two chakras within yourself. Two chakras that are going to be immensely important in facing the challenges that we are facing together. Your voice and your ability to create solutions, to create a continued evolution of life. No matter the circumstances, you will always have access to your own heart and your own breath, your own inner world. And the good news is that I can tell you, I can attest to this, that the inner world is vast, it is eternal. There are vistas inside of you, in your being. And through opening up to this infinite potential inside yourself in your meditations, possibilities and solutions and connections that you could have never fathomed, they will come. They will naturally come and become surfaced from the subconscious of yourself, the subconscious which taps into that ocean of being, that infinite place, that infinite space. Your voice matters. It is influential. You are valid and valuable. Try to feel in your heart, even though you're doing this intricate breathing technique, try to feel in your heart that remembrance of how much humanity innately wants to protect and progress, innately wants to protect that which it loves, the beloved one. If you are someone that, if you are a woman who is being affected right now, currently with the restrictions placed on you by law, I want you to be brave. I want you to remember the divinity in your own heart and look for that divinity in others who can help you or protect you or support you as they very much want to do. And I want to encourage you to use your voice. And trust yourself that you will find a creative solution as it needed, or somebody will help you to create one. Because we are all in this together. And unity is very much our strength. And for all of us who are lucky enough to have our human rights or to have autonomy over our body, we must protect our sisters. Whether we are a man or a woman or any other gender, LGBTQ identification, we must protect our sisters and our daughters. And we can. We have that power, especially when we stay together and stick together within that support and within that protection and within the power of love. Nothing is too small. No act or word is too small. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and close this meditation. Thank you so much, everyone who has meditated with us this evening and who continues to be a brave heart with all the challenges that we face in existence.
Beautiful meditation. Thank you, Leah. And thank you all for joining us. We will be here next week. We're here every week. If you'd like to support the show, you can find a Patreon link in the description. And don't forget to follow Leah on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're all in this together. Be kind to each other.